www.vincentzandri.com, www.vincentzandri.com. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, please. First video for 2018. I've been way behind. Way behind. It's been crazy since I got back from Europe. First week of December, I had to move that next Sunday. And then it was the holidays, and then I got so sick. And I still sort of have it. Wake up every morning coughing, all that sort of stuff. And I've just been writing my tail off and all this sort of stuff, and all sorts of stuff has been happening, but in general everything is really good. And I promised myself I was going to try to make more videos this year and just give away little tidbits of information now that I am officially 20 years as a professional author. Behind me on the wall you see what was my first big published novel Delacour put out 20 years ago. I can't believe it's been 20 years. It came out February 1998, and it was called As Catch Can. And since then, that book has been republished by Thomas and Mercer, and it's now called The Innocent. I changed it back to its original title when it was resold because the editor at the time, good guy, wanted to change the name because I think Harlan Coben had a book called the same name or something like that. There's a bunch of books called The Innocent out there. But anyway, I was whenever people would ask me, "Oh, what's the name of your new novel?" I would say As Catch Can, and they would say, "What?" And then eventually they'd say "Oh, it's called Catch as Catch Can." And so immediately, So when that book came out, I don't think it sold much. It didn't sell much at all, to be honest. It was a typical first novel. But then something amazing happened nearly 10 years later when I finally got the rights back and a smaller independent press put it out. It sold 150,000 copies in 6 weeks. It went nuts, and that's what led to the Thomas and Mercer deal a few years later. Anyway, so last year was a good year. Not so much for my traditional books. That stuff sort of started declining a little bit, but my independent books, whereas I didn't really hit any home runs in 2017, and in fact I think my accountant's gonna slap me upside the head for having spent so much money and not really taken in as much as I should have. But the important thing is that for the independent books, like my Chase Baker series and the Steve Jobs series, and the new Handyman series, which no one's supposed to tell my mother about, those sales were steady and increasing over time. I kind of made the mistake of not that these people are bad people; they're excellent people to work with, super knowledgeable, and I'm not going to say their name or whatever, but I hired on a marketing firm, and it was just way too expensive for the money I was taking in. So I experimented with it for about 4 months, and then I had to pull the plug on that. I have hired a marketing firm to do my ads since then, but it's much less expensive. I mean, the services won't be as comprehensive, but still, I'll have that outside help, which will allow me to spend more time writing. This year, I think I mentioned in a couple of blogs, I have right now 12 books planned. Only one of those will be traditionally published, maybe two. It's up to my new agent what direction one of those books goes. But what that means is I'll have at least one publication per month. And in between that, I'll have some short stories. Down and Out, I'm in 2 anthologies with Down and Out, one of which I'm curating with the noir great Richard Godwin out in London. It's called The Big Cheat. Stories about cheating mistress, or cheating significant others. A tried but true plot. in the noir business. And the other one's called the black car business. So it's going to be a very, very busy year. It's going to be, I think, sort of similar to 2017, and that's going to be a year of work. Just putting out material, editing it, putting it through its paces, and getting out really quality books. And I suspect 2019 will be the same thing. And all this is leading to me, I wanted to have a quick talk with you about books as investment, but even taking it a step further, your independent books as real estate. You buy like a chunk, you buy like a piece of property or a building or a house or whatever, and you put money into it, and you expect one day that you're going to be able to, it's going to be paid off, and it's going to give you like a positive return on investment. Nothing could be different. The story is rather, let's put it this way, the story is absolutely the same with your independent books. Say it costs you $2,000 to put out a full-length novel, 65,000 words, something like that. Between the cover art, between the proofing, between the developmental edit, it's going to run you about $2,000. And say you're making like, I don't know, even like a 10%. And this is conservative as hell. Say you're even making like a 10% return on that $2,000 investment per year. Doesn't sound like a lot, but I have quite a bit of money in mutual funds, and I'm only getting like 6% out of those. So a 10% return on investment is actually eventually that $2,000 sooner than later is going to be paid off, and that's going to be positive passive income for me for the rest of my life, my kids' life, and their kids' life. Because these ebook things are forever. It'll just stay in the family. And the more I write, the more I make on investment. So like I've been toying lately with, like maybe I should go back doing a little bit of journalism as well. I haven't done any for the past year, just a couple of pieces here and there. And of course I keep up with my blog, but I'm thinking like, okay, when I do journalism, I'm only being paid for my time. And then that's it. It goes away, puff. And especially nowadays, like the money in journalism is so bad. In some cases, it's actually turned into non-existent. You get paid for like percents on them from social media clicks. So buzz off. So I've really been investing my time, not only publishing traditionally, but really investing the bulk of my time in building up my independent business. And I honestly believe this is more and more traditional writers are going to be taking this route, and putting out as much quality product as they can, as fast as they can. And this is an age where if you're not prolific, you're kind of screwed. Like back then, there's 20 years ago at the Barnes and Noble. You wrote one book a year. That's what you did. Maybe one every 2 years, and, that was it. There were writers back then that were like, I can't just write one book a year. I have to write more. And so they'd write a book and put it in their closet or in their desk drawer or whatever. I was one of those guys. Like I wanted to keep writing but they would only take one book a year. But now it's totally up to you. If you can put out 2 books a month, do that. I don't know. If songs are good, the product it's got to be good. But think of your writing as an investment. Maybe of mutual funds, maybe dabble in the stock market. I do all that, but I also see my books as a solid investment that's going to earn me money over time, and it's only going to increase, and it'll be there for my kids and their kids, and it's really a great thing. All right, so I promise to come to you with more pertinent information that's going to make your life so good. But do me a favor, if you like this, hit the like button, please, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I know I have to be more consistent with my. I have to be more consistent with putting up YouTube posts, so, and then I'll get more followers. But anyway, I've been writing a lot, so I have a good excuse. All right, don't forget VincentZandri.com, VincentZandri.com, and I will see you later.